Hey, what up? It's Chris Roscoe, and today we're talking about how to get over toxic relationships, right? Because they have this weird way of kind of like burrowing into your fucking skin and making it it's almost like an addiction. It makes it really hard to stop thinking about this person. It makes it really hard to move on and get past all the bullshit or whatever. And so I want to talk about it because I think this is one of the most common problems I see people have. People have these toxic relationships where they keep coming back to either the same person that wasn't good for them or the same type of person that wasn't good for them. Or when they do get away, they really have a hard time getting over this person. And it creates this kind of like dependence or addiction that can really cause a lot of problems and lead to a lot of other problems. Like it can lead to overeating. It can lead to depression. It can lead to getting into more toxic relationships. It can lead to all kinds of crazy shit. And so I want to give a breakdown of how to actually address that in a healthy way and fill that void in a way that's actually going to be good for you. Because this seems like one of the things that's hardest to explain, but it's something that a lot of my friends and my clients and just people that I know have to deal with. So I kind of want to talk about that a little bit. So the number one thing to know is, like with any video I'm ever going to make or any advice I'm ever going to give, is that you're doing this because you get something out of it. So the best way to figure out how to get over a situation is to figure out what you're getting out of the situation in the first place. Like why would you keep going back to the same type of person? Or why would you keep going back to the same person? Or why would you keep missing and thinking about someone who isn't good for you or isn't right for you? And they don't necessarily have to be toxic in order to not be good for you or right for you or anything like that. It could be timing. It can be, that like maybe you were ready and healthy, but they weren't, like anything. Or if you just like can't seem to let someone go and it's starting to cause problems in your life, it's starting to have negative impacts on either your mental health or maybe you're getting into bad scenarios or whatever the fuck it is, you're doing it on purpose. You're getting something out of this. Because at the end of the day, we as human beings don't do things that don't benefit us, at least on some level. And the tricky thing to know here is that you're not only are you getting something out of this, but you're getting a need met in an unhealthy way. But it shows you that that need is so important that your health in other areas is less important. Doing what's good for you, doing what's healthy for you is less of a priority than getting this need met, or even having the hope that potentially one day this need could get met. And so that should go to show you how important whatever it is you think you're getting out of this behavior is, and hopefully help you have a little bit of compassion for it. Because you're not doing this because you're bad, you're not doing this because you're broken, you're not doing this because you're stupid, you're not doing this because there's something wrong with you, you're not doing this because you're fucked. It's just there's a need that's getting met that you're not really aware of. And so the idea is to figure out what need is getting met and then to find a healthier way to get that need met. And I'll give you an example of what I mean. So we've heard this, maybe you have, maybe you haven't. I've seen a lot of articles on it, so I'm assuming other people have heard it. But this kind of relationship dance that will happen between a narcissist and an empath, someone who thinks only about themselves and someone who thinks a lot about other people. It's really classic because we tend to invite people into our lives and get really attached to people that have skills that we lack. So if like you're really empathic to the point where you think about other people to the point that it starts to cause you problems, you're going to be attracted to somebody who doesn't think about anybody at all, who just does whatever they want to do. Because deep down, some part of you wants access to your ability to do whatever you want, regardless of what anybody thinks. Because that's a natural part of our personality. There's some things we have to do, even if it hurts other people. There's some things we have to do, even if other people don't like it. And that's just part of life, and there's nothing really wrong with that. And on the opposite side of the spectrum, if you're super selfish, some part of you knows that taking care of other people and being considerate and respectful of other people is not only like quote unquote the right thing to do, but on some level it's going to make you happier. On some level it's going to improve the quality of your life and just make you feel better in general. So we get attracted to people, or if you're really shy, you may be attracted to adventurous people, or whatever it may be. We get attracted to people that embody and represent things that we haven't really given ourselves permission to embody yet or accept inside of ourselves. And so these people give us this like access to this part of ourselves, but it's not real. You know, we're kind of like leeching off them. We're kind of mooching off them, like riding their coattails and hoping that whatever it is that they have will rub off against us. But a lot of times what ends up happening is we end up hating it because we hate it in ourselves. And so we end up hating it in them. And then we think that they're the only way we can have this thing. And we don't even know that this whole drama is playing out in our head. So the question is to figure out what you were getting out of this relationship, you know? Like I can tend to be a little bit more on the... I vacillate, but I can tend to be a little bit more on the narcissistic side because I'm a super adventurous guy. I really like to know that I'm having a good life, and I like to do what I want, and I like to be authentic, and I like to know that my life is authentic to me and I'm doing what I really, really want. That's pretty much my highest value. And whether or not other people like it or are comfortable with what I'm doing is kind of like a secondary concern for me. And so a lot of times I end up in relationships with people that care a lot about other people. They're like really thoughtful. They're really caring. They're really generous. They're really great. And it makes me end up wanting to be more like them. And so if one of them leaves me, or if I have to leave one of them or something like that, I get this hole in my life where it's like, oh my God, like if I could have been more like them or something like that, or there's just this thing missing, that thing that they brought into my life, that like warm, caring, like sweet generosity of thoughtfulness and giving and caring, and just how good it feels to be around someone like that. When I don't have that in me as much as they do, I miss it when they're gone, and I try to get it back through all these other ways. And I watch other people do this too. Like maybe you start overeating, or maybe you start getting into bad relationships just to have someone close to you, or whatever it may be. But the question is to figure out what you were getting from that relationship and finding a better way to give it to yourself. Like in my instance, I miss the warmth and the caring and the kindness of the types of women that are generally my opposite, so to speak, or would have access to the things that I don't readily have access to. And so when I develop that warmth inside myself, when I develop my ability to care and nurture and be there for other people and be supportive and loving and all those things that I really like in the women that I get attracted to, the more I embrace that in myself, the more I have access to that part of myself internally. And so my need to have it outside of me is less. It's just that need isn't as strong. And so I don't need to eat a lot of sugary shit to try and get the serotonin rush. I don't need to, get in unhealthy relationships that aren't good for me just so I can have somebody close by. I don't need to do any of that crap because I'm like, oh, hey, this thing that I really wanted, this thing that I really needed and missed was in me the whole time, and I have access to it. And so that's something that's really important to understand about this approach, is that it's the idea that whatever you think you want out there, whatever you think you need out there, is already a part of you, and you can find it. And if it's not already there, you have some reason for covering it up. And the reason's probably good. Like for me, I got the idea that it's better to take care of myself than it is to take care of other people, because, my dad died when I was a little kid, and it really made me aware of the fact that if I don't learn to take care of myself first and foremost, I could be left alone and I could be fucked. So caring for myself more than I care about other people was a means of survival for me. And so that's what I did. And so it's not bad that I am that way. It's just I could use a little bit more because, or I could use a little bit more of the other thing. But what I need to accept is the fact that that is already in me, but I've been repressing it because I've been saying that wasn't as important as learning how to take care of myself and be there for myself and all this shit. So it's important to know that whatever you need, whatever you're looking for, is already inside of you. You just have to figure out why you're repressing it or why you're ignoring it, and then look for a way to bring it to the surface. Like for me, I had to be like, hey, it is good to take care of myself first. It's good to be self-reliant and independent so that I know if anything goes down, that I'll be able to take care of myself. But at the end of the day, it's also really good to take care of other people and care about other people, because that also makes my life better. It improves my quality of life. It improves my relationships. It improves my my mental health. It improves everything. And so once I was like, okay, like I see what I'm trying to protect myself against, and letting my guard down a little bit more and caring about other people is actually a great way to help me fulfill this need even more. Then it becomes easier. And then I start meeting my needs on my own, and I'm less dependent on other people, and I'm able to just kind of like hang out by myself and not really worry about it and be healthy. So I wanted to give you a rundown of what this looks like and how to do it. Basically, you just got to understand that whatever you're doing for a reason. You're trying to meet a need. That need is so important that you're willing to hurt yourself in order to get that need met. So identify the need, figure out what you're trying to do, and find a healthier way to meet that need. Chances are you were just trying to have some of their behaviors or attitudes or whatever rub off on you, which is not bad. It's good to learn from other people, even if they're somewhat toxic. That doesn't mean that they don't have any valuable traits or anything to learn from them. Everybody has something you can learn from them. So look for what it is you're trying to get, and then find a healthy way to get it. Bam. If you have any questions, tell me, send me a message, however you got access to this, and I will do my best to answer, because this is something that I know a lot of people deal with, and the ability to conquer this particular issue could change your life forever and lead you down a road of having much, much healthier relationships in the future, and it could be a fucking game changer. So let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you need any help. I love you, and I will see you next time.